Every DeFi strategist needs to know how to cheat loop. It is one of the most indispensable tools in DeFi, and if you don't know about it, if you've never done it, if you don't know how this short video is going to show you, shout out to Dingo. I think he was the one who first showed me how to do this, and it's just been an indispensable tool ever since. I think now everyone in the dojo has heard the term, is using cheat loops. They are incredible. They are specifically for a diversified portfolio and best used when you're rebalancing your portfolio or opening up a bunch of new positions. Let's just dive right into it. So what they allow you to do is open up a fully leveraged position, 10x leverage, 5x leverage, whatever it is, with just one deposit and one borrow. You do one deposit and one borrow and you're max leveraged, no swapping, no manually looping. It's like magic, but it does require some starting capital. So let's explain sort of the process and how it works and why it's so important. Okay, if you wanted to do 10x leverage, you would need 21 loops, 21 clickings, 21 swaps, 21 cycles of looping to be max leverage. That's painful. And, it's not just painful because of the time it takes, it's painful because of the potential slippage that you're eating in doing all of that. I love auto loopers. I love Contango. I love Euler's multiply feature. The issue there is if you're doing that through thin liquidity, you will get torn to shreds. So what a cheat loop is taking some starting capital, making it the yield-bearing asset of your choice, the thing you're going to get yield on, depositing that, and then just borrowing, max borrowing or borrowing whatever amount you want, and then you're done. And so you're probably like, well, what do you mean? How does that max leverage you? How does that? Okay. Let's say you want to open up a 5, we'll do 5. We won't go so crazy. What is that, 80% LTV? Let's say you want to be 5x leveraged on, $10,000. Cool. Well, that would take 15 loops. That would take 15 loops, 15 swaps, 15 potential instances to get slippage, 15 potential instances to get swap fees, 15 whatever. If you simply had $50,000, again, you want to be diversified. You probably want 7 or 8 positions. If you're only putting $10,000 in this one position, then you should have $50,000 of starting capital. If you are a sufficiently diversified person. So let's say you have $50,000, you want this position to be $10,000, max leverage 5x. What you do, you take that $50,000, collateralize it, deposit it, and then max borrow. So at 80% LTV, you will be max borrowing $40,000. And so now you'll be left with $10,000 in there, 10,000 NAV. So that's like your collateral minus your borrow, $10,000, max leverage 5x. So you'll be getting, so I'll show you. Let's look at, so what I did was SUSDS. So let's go borrow, let's do collateral asset. USDS. There we go. And then click. So I noticed that there were some really good yields on SUSDS on Euler, right? And there's $7.81 million to borrow. That's fantastic. 40% APR, $8 million to borrow. Love it. But I didn't want to leverage 12.48x automatically or through, all these mechanisms where I might get hit by slippage, price impact, fees, whatever. So what I did was took a large chunk of capital, converted to SUSDS. You can do this on Llama Swap. Oku Trade was actually great. Shout out to Oku Trade. You can do this directly through Sky. If you want to use it from the US, use a Mysterium VPN. I had all my SUSDS. I deposited it into Euler Prime and then just borrowed my USDC and went about my day. So what the result was, let's go to my portfolio, was that I deposited $200,000 or $206,000 apparently of SUSDS. Okay. Then I withdrew $187,000 of USDC. So now I am effectively 11x leveraged on $18,000. So now my principal position here is $18.6 thousand. I'm getting 36% APR on that $18,000. And then I take this USDC and go do something else. I go to another protocol. Maybe I'm leveraging up like a PT on Morpho. Maybe I'm leveraging up a PT on Euler. Maybe I'm, doing SUSDS on another protocol because there's another rate and I want to diversify my interest rates, like on Compound. But that's what you can do. So it was one instance of depositing SUSDS, one instance of borrowing, and now all of a sudden I have $18.6 thousand principal, getting 36% APR at 11x leverage. This is awesome. I avoided this one, 11x leverage, right? So 11x leverage, what's my LTV there? 90.1, 91%. That would have taken 22 loops. 22 loops if I wanted to do that manually, right? This is way better. And you might be saying, okay, but I don't have $100,000, I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to leverage up my position. That's fine. 18, what is it? Let's just call it $19,000 out of my $200,000 that I use as principal is what? That is, I can tell you, that's 9.5%. That is a reasonable size for one position in your portfolio. 9.5%. So when you're rebalancing your portfolio, that is when you want to do the cheat loops. You take all of the, maybe your total capital, right? Maybe your total capital is only $10,000, right? And so each position is going to be like, $1,000. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, right? Take that $10,000, collateralize that, and then you can 10x leverage. Take that $9,000 you borrowed, put it somewhere else, and now you can do a $900 position. And if you just cheat loop twice, then you can effectively, you can get more capital in there through 2 loops rather than like 22 loops. Do you see what I'm saying? So the cheat loop is an indispensable tool. It is very simple. It's something that almost no one thinks of intuitively. And then exiting can be a huge pain. So what I recommend is having some chunk of capital, some negligible chunk of your portfolio in what I call a liquid or effectively liquid position. So instead of all of your positions being leveraged PTs, leveraged yield-bearing assets, leverage this and that, have some non-negligible chunk of your portfolio, maybe 25%, 20%, as maybe it's an LP, right? Maybe you're on like SwapX, LPing, wrap staked USD, USD, or USDT, USDC. I saw that on Beefy earlier. Awesome position. And then whenever you need to close a position, you just take out that liquid capital, pay down your debt, a couple, maybe 3 loops instead of 22 loops to exit, and you're done. So that is the cheat loop. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you can now use the cheat loop when you need to. Hedge funds use this, LPs use this, big guys use this. It's such an obvious thing once you know how to do it, and it'll save you a ton of money on swap fees and, borrowing, like slippage or whatever. Thanks for watching, and that's it.